welcome. I hope all is well. We are live again, so you guys have any questions, just let us know in the chat. I'll try my best to man it. Um, we're just going to talk about the harsh reality of where everything is at. Okay, so
Stuff. Oh, stuff.
stuff. If you don't already, go ahead and since this is an adult show, feel free to get a beverage of your choice
Ooh.
and just drink responsibly. And we're just gonna for the next 30 minutes or so, we're just gonna let it all hang out,
Okay,
talk.
I got a 40.
Oh, well, cheers, then, right? If you guys want, you can call this happy hour. I don't know. It
Mm.
depends on the discussion if you'll be happy.
It's Wednesday. That works, sir. I'm
Hey, you
sorry.
know what? It's
Please,
hump day.
everybody. I,
And speaking of humping, there's I had got a magazine, and this I know it's not a dirty magazine, but it might as well
oh,
be dirt.
yeah.
I got a magazine from the grocery store the other day, and it is titled "Retirement Guide." I thought that was pretty
Wow.
interesting. It was in bright yellow color, as you see right here on the screen, and
Hmm.
I said, "Isn't this interesting?" So
I think retirement is a misnomer.
I think it is too. And you know what? Retirement reminds me of death. Dare I say it?
Hmm.
Um, so
Hmm. Hmm.
of course, you and I have different perspectives because you have a wealth of experience that I don't have at the moment, right? So
But you're a quick learner, though.
I I appreciate that. But look, nothing trumps experience though. So it's weird because from my perspective as a millennial, when I hear the word retirement, to me,
Hmm.
the part of retirement that stands out is the word tire. And automatically my mind goes to tired.
Yeah, it
When
is
my
tired.
when my mind hears retired, all I
Hmm.
hear is tired. Okay. And then when I have the opportunity, from people looking at some of our videos online and they opt in and all that stuff and they go through things
Hmm.
like yesterday evening, when I have the opportunity to speak with someone who is
Hmm.
older than me and let's just call it what it is, what my generation was taught as far as a good job, right? Medical professionals when I was
Isn't that
growing
an
up.
Isn't good job an oxymoron?
It is good just over broke. So
Yeah.
when I'm talking to these people who have a good job, right?
Hmm.
And I'm listening, and then they make it known to me that they want to do something for extra income. Or
Huh.
they make it, yeah, because it's so weird. It's so weird. So even in high school, like I went to an academy. The academy, the section I was in was called ACE. Right, we had a medical academy inside that high school, and also architecture, construction, engineering. That's what ACE stood for. And it's weird because now as an adult, when I meet architects, I realize that the grass is not greener on the other side, right?
Wow.
I realize that when I meet
Wow.
medical professionals, I'm like, wow, I think I dodged a bullet right there
Wow.
because it's almost like I go back to Martin Luther King statement or quote, advocating for people to run into a burning building.
Mm, mm, mm.
I was taught that definitely education, get that master's degree. Matter of fact, if you really want to be an overachiever, you get the doctoral degree, and no one can take those things from you. That was something that my mother would always tell me. Get your degree because no one can take it from you.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
you fast forward, it's like, yeah, get your degree because ain't nobody gonna take it because nobody nobody the hell wants
Nobody
it.
wants.
Matter of fact, if you try to sell it back to Fannie or Freddie Mae, whoever has the loan at the moment, trust me, it's not going to be even exchange. They'll say, "Oh, sir, you know what? That's okay. Just make sure that payment is made. No worries there."
Mm, mm,
So
mm.
going back to this book here, and this isn't even what you and I were talking about. I just saw it on the corner of my desk. Um, it's crazy. It's crazy. But what we were talking about before we got started was when you speak to people initially they say they want passive income,
Mhm.
but when you flip the coin, they then say, you know what? I just want some more money.
Wow. Leland, let me apologize to people because Leland knows that I can get off on a tangent, and I have to curb my enthusiasm because when you were talking about going back to school, this ACE concept, the school, this academy that you were going to, in my opinion, the teachers were trying to implant a mindset
Yeah,
that that going to that school as compared to some of the other schools will put will put you on a higher rung on the ladder to success.
man, man. Can we say BS? I don't know. Can we say that?
Well, BS, but I want to call it. And again, in that we are peeling back layers of the onion of life.
Let's do it.
We I call it the big lie because I think people were trying to motivate us to reach for something, to stay engaged, but they also painted this glossy, this rosy
Rosie,
picture that if we
absolutely.
do these things,
You can be all right.
okay, you will have the house with the white picket fence. And you
Yeah.
talked about the retirement. I can remember when I was coming along, there were a lot of people dying before the age of 65 because we go back to Social Security.
That's right.
Back when I came along, most people that looked like me were that's right. They were kissing the carpet early. So
I
so
like that.
so Social Security was a good thing for those who lived beyond 65. Now,
The few.
because I was in the military, there was I did some research, and the research was that the life expectancy after retiring from the military was 10 years.
Mhm.
Now, I had a goal when I retired from the military, and that goal was to stay around at least 11 years. You laugh. I I didn't want to be part of the statistic.
Correct.
Now, there are different statistics out in the workplace, out in society today.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
this, do this, you can have that. Do this, you can go there. Okay? And we buy into it. So I was just going to say be careful of what you wish for. That's all. Just be careful of
Well,
what you wish for.
and let's there's so you mentioned a few things I want to touch on. Um, one of the things is that statistics, man, statistics is unfortunately what rules our world. The
Hmm.
statistics. And I
Hmm.
remember being in class taking, oh my gosh, statistics and other economic courses, and things like life insurance, right? Like an actuary, as it whatever. That
Hmm.
person is basing everything on statistics. Just by the color of your skin, they have a set life expectancy for you,
Hmm.
based on the zip code that someone's in, based on your current weight, uh, based on your current age, based on whether you're married, whether you're not married. They have a statistic for,
Smoke,
oh, those
not smoke.
smoking. Yeah, those who are married tend to live longer than those who never
Hmm.
get married, right? Those
Hmm.
who are single parents tend to die quicker than those who are married with children. So they have
Hmm.
all these statistics to go along with it. And so as people in society, what we end up doing, whether we agree with it or not, is we play into these statistics. And then those who those who monitor these statistics make the most money on said statistics. And a
You
great
know.
example of that
Hmm.
is car insurance. Anyone who doesn't understand that, it's a great example.
Well,
and
and actually, yeah. Well, not just house insurance, a whole bunch of
house,
insurances out there. Yeah, but
right?
car, yeah, yeah.
Don't get me started with medical insurance.
Leland, you mentioned statistics, if I may. If may I cling on to that just for a second?
Oh yeah,
The tech companies are using something called algorithms. And in
statistics.
my mind, algorithms are statistics on steroids.
It's like confirmed statistics.
And I was watching something about Amazon. And Amazon is so sophisticated that by zip code, they are stocking warehouses in certain locales to ensure that if you want, no, to ensure that if anybody in that zip code wants an orange sweater,
Hmm.
that orange sweater is there waiting for you to get it, and you will get it within 24 hours. Now, we're at a disadvantage when we consider modern technology. And there's no
Disadvantage. What do you mean
this
by that?
yeah, this we have consumed the Kool-Aid without even realizing. No, here it is. Here it is. Let's see if I can give another analogy. We are in, I started to say we were in a cesspool, but no, that wouldn't be nice. We, we,
Oh, what it
we,
is. That's full.
we're in an environment that's controlled by somebody else, and it's like we're on stage. We're the
Correct.
we're the puppet, and the
Come on,
puppet master
Shakespeare.
keep pulling the strings.
Come on, Shakespeare. All of the
No,
world is a stage, right?
yeah, or temptations. So I'm just again my
Here, can I want to take it a step further for where you are. All right. I
well,
am
yeah,
going.
please.
I'm going to make it. Anyone who's listening and watching, I want to make you basically crap your pants after we talk about statistics. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So one thing I loved about school for economics is they taught us how to create our own formulas, right? And they taught us that. So basically, what most statistics are, they're nothing more than what's called a weighted average. A
Hmm.
weighted average. So very, very quickly, for anyone who's not a math major or whatever, the best way you can put a weighted average is when you add a statistic with some type of probability. Probability means that it's not 100% going to happen, but it's
Hmm.
not 0% going to happen. So
Right.
there might be a 40% chance that's going to happen, right? So for
Hmm.
example, Hank, you mentioned someone within a certain zip code in Amazon already having in their warehouse placed an orange sweater, right?
Hmm.
And that will be compiled by behavior statistics, saying that sometime based on someone's purchasing, their purchasing
Hmm.
pattern, that maybe in the last 12 months, maybe during a holiday season, maybe even during their own birthday, they chose to purchase a certain sweater a year or maybe 2 years ago. Okay.
Hmm.
And it just so
Hmm.
happens that maybe they're also purchasing colors that are best for the fall, hypothetically, right?
Hmm.
These become an equation or an algorithm where it has
Hmm.
a weighted average. So within that same zip code, Molly may have ordered a sweater a year ago. Uh, Barbara may have ordered a sweater 6 months ago. Ironically, from the statistics, they both have a similar size. They both happen to get a large, as an example. Okay.
Oh,
So,
we're screwed.
Amazon has a limited
We're
amount of
screwed.
sweater, and they look at this. They look at the algorithm. They say, "Well, hell, I have a 60% chance of placing this one in this facility because I have 20 people that would match that weighted
Mm.
average of that happening. Then they go, well, we have another facility in San Antonio as an example, and it looks like we'll have a 40% average. And they say, you know what? Put it in White Castle or Whitestown, Indiana, because we have a 60% over 40%. The algorithm makes that calculation like that as quickly as you punch it into your Excel spreadsheet, makes the same exact calculation. And the
But
way
that,
and just to put it a step further, the calculations that we were taught to put into Excel format, whether you were in high school or college or whatever, to put those same calculations into Excel formats, that's those formulas, right? They're basically taking those similar scripts and just placing them as code into computer programs.
But Leland, can I take it one step further?
Yeah.
The algorithm is constantly being updated by current individual behavior that, if you think about it, almost you can
Confirms
walk in the
statistics.
store. You can just walk in the. You can walk in the store. Okay. In fact, they've got technology now, and I don't know where it's implemented, but they had technology now that had eye scans.
Yeah.
That if you walk through the store and you looked at certain stuff,
Yep. The retina scan. Yep.
retina scan, okay, and in all of that was impacting people's buying habits, which was just, like I say, the deck is stacked against us, and
The,
we haven't a clue.
the deck is so well. So earlier I said that the algorithms that are used, they're really built off of confirmed statistics. So they
But then they
start
do
off
probability. Yep.
with probability to make it a weighted average, right? So and so with 40% chance likely to smack so and so, as an example. Okay, they make that weighted average as a what we might call in statistics as a equilibrium or a ceteris paribus, where everything is considered equal and no other external factors exist, right? The moment that one additional stimulus or stimuli is added to sway that weighted average, it confirms it. Okay. In a nanosecond, when that equation is boom
How
confirmed,
quickly? How quickly?
like less than quicker than this.
No,
Once it's confirmed,
quicker than the
once that
bat
is
of an eye.
confirmed, absolutely. Once it's
Now,
confirmed, the algorithm has about 6, 7, 8, 10, 20 steps pre-programmed ahead.
now,
And it's
can we roll it back to the initial premise about retirement?
okay. Before we do that, let me say this.
Okay.
Being placed in the burning building, or having people advocate to be placed into the burning building, right? To get higher education, to ultimately end up flat broke, as an example. That is something that was miseducation that was brought to 2 generations ahead. So I can't really fault anyone that gets into that circumstance, because they were purposely misled that was the answer.
Well, and don't stop me on something. There was a book by Alfred Huxley that I read when I was in high school, and the title of that book is called Compulsory Miseducation. And that was, I'm telling my age now, that was in the 60s. We are confronted with that, not that same premise, but we're still being confronted by misinformation. And the misinformation back then, we didn't have TV. We didn't have access to the newspaper. We listened to the radio. And everybody had certain stations that they listened to on the radio. Today, we're being bombarded constantly by information. In fact, about 10 years ago, I read something that says that on any given day, An individual is confronted with over 3,000 commercials.
Yeah, advertisements. Yes, sir. Yep.
You're driving up and down the street, you see neon
Billboards.
signs, absolutely, okay? And because we're creatures of habit, we've got this herd mentality. Um, and the crazy part about it is we think we're smarter than that. That we won't get caught up in the hype.
Yeah. Hmm.
There's no place we can go.
None.
Now, that
But
doesn't mean we shouldn't go anyplace.
but as consumers, we encourage it. You know how we encourage it? When we choose that as a consumer base that we want
Mhm.
the cheaper product,
Ooh, cheap.
we exchange cheap and free for privacy or lack thereof, right? Those of you guys who are on Facebook, for example, do you pay a fee to join Facebook? No,
No,
right?
no.
And but in exchange for you choosing not to pay Facebook,
You
what you
paying.
actually yeah, what you actually enable Facebook to do is to put various what they call spiders on your computer, on your phone. So when you log into your account on your computer after you've been on Facebook, if you've been on Facebook for over 90 days, that spider is still on your computer. So therefore now Facebook knows and has access to your account.
And they
Okay,
watch everything you do
they
constantly.
watch what you're doing. If you went to Amazon, Facebook knows about that. Okay, all those
Um,
things are real.
here now, last week or maybe week before last, I went to Kelly Blue Book. I'm just taking a look, and I was on my computer. Okay. Now, when I go to my TV, periodically I'm seeing advertisement for who? Kelly
Yeah.
Blue Book.
Hmm.
To the point where I get paranoid. I mean,
No, it's truth. It's not paranoia. That's what's happening. And
I
let's
mean,
take it a step further. Because
yeah.
here's the thing. I was talking. I've had a conversation with my therapist months ago, and I had asked her to do something like sign into something,
Hmm.
and she said to me, she said, "Well, I don't want to do that." I said, "Why not?" She said, "Well, I don't want to. I don't want to sign into that. I forgot what it was. I don't want to sign into that because then they're gonna know what I like and don't like, something like that." And I think it was like her opting into her opting in through her phone number, something like that. And
Hmm.
I laughed. I said, if you think the phone is the issue, I said the issue has always been the email address. When you get your bank statements, it's through your email address. When you sign up for a new service, like let's say you sign up for Netflix, that's through your email address. Your email address is the actual quote unquote voodoo doll, right? So let's say
Hmm.
you take a doll, right? And now
Hmm.
you say, this doll have Wells Fargo account. This doll happens to have T-Mobile. This doll happens to be between the ages of blank, blank and blank. This doll happens to have insurance with Navy Federal Credit Union. This doll happens to be a veteran, right? This doll, aka your email address, has all
Hmm.
these things that are tied to it. So the moment
Yo,
that,
this doll has a credit score of X.
absolutely, so the moment that you sign into, let's say, earlier we were talking about HBO Max, right? So the moment I sign into my HBO Max account using my email address, that email address has in correlation with it all those things. So now HBO can say to themselves, well, you know what? Going back to statistics, you know what?
Hmm.
60% of our demographic of users who use what we have an income
Hmm.
of X. How the hell would HBO know that?
They,
Unless
yeah,
from me
yeah.
opting into Yahoo for free,
Hmm.
Gmail for free, right? Blah blah blah. Yeah, that's how they.
And even if and people are selling your information to other folk. Oh, man, which
Come on.
again, which goes back and says we are a pawn in somebody's chess game of life.
Yeah, and they're doing a very good game of chess. I love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're doing 15 dimension chess. But as we consider all of those things that are traps that make us think that we will one day be able to retire,
Hmm.
that whole retirement window has expanded now from 65, okay, for most people to now 80 plus. So
Correct.
I ask people that are looking at retirement who might be 60 and they said, okay, I've got the husband of a nephew of my niece. I said the husband of my nephew. No, husband of my niece is in his 60s, so he'll be retiring in 2 years. So
Okay.
when we were in South Carolina in a couple months back in October, and we were chatting, and I was out grilling, and he was saying something, and I said, "Well, you plan to retire at age 65. How do you plan to live the next 20 years?
Hmm.
Will your retirement financial plan allow you to live the way you're living today?"
The average person is no.
Now, which means that because see, when I came along, my father worked for the railroad. He had a once he for 35 years, he had full retirement.
Hmm.
He had full health care, medical care for the rest of his life.
Hmm. And they were
Okay.
hoping that he only stayed alive for 5 years.
Well, he stayed around till 84. So,
Yeah.
but the point, but
Tough
the
luck on
point
them.
is, that's what he had back then. And
Right.
again, he was outside the norm because he lasted beyond 65 years. But
Hmm.
for people who are listening, who are thinking about retiring, retirement does not take time.
Mm. Say it again.
So
I'm not sure they
I,
heard you.
I say retirement does not take time. Retirement takes
Uh huh.
Money.
Is that? Did you spell honey?
Uh huh. And because if you don't have enough honey,
No, if you ain't got enough
okay,
money, you ain't gonna have no
well, okay,
honey.
that's right. Okay, that's right. You'll have, and so if we consider that people who work and don't and haven't taken advantage of the company's retirement plan,
Right. Okay.
they haven't created a 401k or an IRS for themselves. They haven't invested in in real assets.
Yeah. That unless so, and this is what troubles me so much. There's been a lot of there's there's been a lot of sleight of. All right. So
Hmm.
going back to what you said in reference to your father, the idea at that time for most of those companies is that hey, they just didn't believe that someone would would outpace what they wanted for that person's retirement. Okay,
Particularly the man of color.
particular especially because the statistics that they use and based on what unfortunately
Hmm.
the living conditions that have been given immediately lessen life expectancy. That's not an if. That's anyone who doesn't understand that, please get educated. But that was on purpose. So the moment that someone outpaced that, the companies had to say to themselves, "What the hell are we going to do?" And that's why in the early '70s, late '60s, when they
Hmm.
came out with the IRS code 401k, that basically gave all companies an out and in from having to deal with pensions. That it just gutted the fish 100%. Just straight out rip cord, boom, gone.
So a
Right?
lot of people. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, no. So now what we're talking about is working age where someone's getting a livable wage,
Mm,
and at that time frame was
mm,
between the age of 30 to 55. That's 25 years.
mm-hmm,
Within a 25-year span, people are expected to accumulate, grow, save, or preserve enough wealth to last them an addition in today's society to last them an
mm-hmm.
additional 25 years plus inflation. Basic mathematics, that's why that doesn't work. A person would have to almost live in a box, aka a pauper. as, as
Mm-hmm.
my as my grandma would say, a pauper, hand to mouth, basically, so that
Mm-hmm.
within those 25 years, so that you would be able to have a decent livelihood for the remaining 25 years.
You know, Leland, this is a. I hope people are paying attention to what it is that we're saying, because the people that we're talking to basically are in, maybe in a fix. Not all of them, but maybe in a fix. And what they've done is, what many of them have done is, I will start a retirement account or 401 or next year.
Don't start it now.
Like life happens, oh, I'll start it next year. And I have heard people say things like, my family didn't leave me, my parents didn't leave me nothing, and I'm going to make certain that I don't leave my kids nothing. Now, to me, that is
Yeah,
foolish thinking.
that's painful.
Okay? And this whole idea of delayed gratification is a heck of a way to live the rest of your life, because delay for what? You are delaying the inevitable, and that inevitability is a life of need, NEED, not WANT.
And not need dough, huh? Not that one either.
Not that one, right? Yeah, so and I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm going like, many people don't realize that even though the train has left the station,
Correct.
there is a way to still get on the train.
You know what? Let me talk about that train, right?
Okay.
One thing, one of the many things that I'm grateful in reference to the millennial generation is that, unfortunately, if it's working conditions that they don't agree with, if it's compensation that they don't agree with, they tend those who are creative enough tend to find alternative routes.
Mm.
Okay,
Hmm.
they will they will live with two or three roommates in order to get that first rental property, which is great.
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice. Not all. Hold on, let me say
Hmm.
that now.
Hmm.
Not all.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
but I think that's great, and I think part of that is because they have seen what the tradition leads to.
Hmm.
They've
Hmm.
seen, they've heard, they know somebody, they done seen somebody, they done seen something to say, you know what, that's the traditional route. The traditional route is for me to go ahead and get those 2.5 kids right now. That's the traditional route. Instead, I'm going to go and put my nose down.
Hmm.
I'm gonna get creative in the market. I'm gonna find some things to do, find something to do. I'm gonna build some assets before I even have
Hmm.
the children. Because older generations prior is a big thing. Hey, have your kids before a certain time.
Hmm.
Get you a house before a certain time.
Hmm. Hmm. Get yourself situated.
Get yourself situated. That's right.
Situate. Now,
Get yourself in some debt.
but 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 Leland, I think the younger generation feels, and I know this is a generality, that they've got lots of options, Point one. And then point two is they have insufficient information, or they perform insufficient research,
Correct. That's good.
because there is a waterfall. Right now we're out there on this body of water, and that body of water is just as calm, and we just having fun, and we be fishing and all this other stuff. And all of a sudden, if we're not careful, because I'm saying, if you're in a canoe, you're screwed. You better have something with a big power motor on it so you can turn around.
You
But
better be
all of
bet.
a sudden they hear this noise, and they're trying to figure out, what is this noise?
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden they're at the end of this waterfall with no possibility of not going over the rapids.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Okay. So my mom and dad said, son, know your surroundings. My dad, with a third grade education, said, son, take advantage of every opportunity that presents itself to you. Now, at the time, I didn't know. I'm saying, this is an uneducated man. Okay. But in retrospect, I realized that my father was brilliant, because the time he came along, he did the best that he could under his circumstances, and he went to work. Excuse me. He went to work for the railroad, and by
Mm-hmm.
working for the railroad for 35 years, okay, they wouldn't allow him to drive the train out on the highways and the byways, but he learned to drive the train, at least in the yard. But the point I'm making is that because he went to work for the railroad, and they had a retirement plan, and they had a health care plan, I mentioned earlier, he died at 84. That plan covered my mother. Do you know how old my mother was when she died?
92,
93 years old.
93.
So my parents basically outlived expectation, and my mom was taken care of by my father's retirement plan.
And they were, and that company was pissed about it.
But they kept paying.
They had a legal obligation to do so.
So in today's environment, people are want to become a ward of the state in something called
Mm-hmm.
Medicare. Well, you got to take Medicare. The people say, "Well, I don't want to." No, you got to sign up for Medicare at age 65. Forget
You got to
forget
figure it
that
out.
crap. You got to sign up for it, regardless of your wealth status. But the point is, social insecurity is where folk are, and we talked about the average Social Security check is what, $1,500,
That's it.
11, no,
That's
maybe 1,200,
yeah.
something crazy.
It's 1,500 if you make a lot of qualifications and all that stuff. But
Right.
you
But
also
the
better pay
most you can get is $3,600. That's
yes,
for the Okay, because again, people don't realize that Social Security is
pay in.
based on not how much money you made, but there was a cutoff where you participated in the Social Security program, and I think it might be like first 100,000 or first 70,000. They kept moving, and then all of a sudden they said, "Hey, poof." Okay,
Yep.
so again, you're limited. Okay, and if you think you can live off of $1,500 a month, then you don't need to be on this call.
It's not gonna work.
Now, I know that sounds harsh.
It's not gonna work. Y-
Okay,
y- Yeah, it's not gonna work. It's not
it's
gonna work.
it's right. It's not going to work. So then the question is,
It's not gonna work.
knowing that it's not too late, Leila. It's not now. Now is the time. Forget fear, because knowing that you've got options and you choose not to explore,
Yeah.
you can't blame anybody. You can't fault anybody but yourself.
Yep.
Well, I didn't know. Ignorance is no longer bliss.
No, ignorance is dangerous. Ignorance
Ignorance
will
is
kill you.
ignorant.
Ignorance will kill you.
But the question then is, would you rather be stupid or ignorant? I'm not calling people ignorant or stupid. I'm just saying.
No, 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 no. I'm going to answer that for myself. I'd rather be stupid,
Really?
and I'll say why. When I think of
See, I'd
stupid,
rather be ignorant, but go ahead.
when I think of stupid, I think of stupid as being as at least being in motion.
Hmm.
Hear me on this. On this is my perspective, of course.
Okay.
I think of stupid as someone doing the same thing and getting the same exact result,
Okay.
and therefore those actions are stupid. Thinking that you'll get
Okay.
different result, but
Okay.
on a positive note, despite that horrible result, on a positive note, at least that person did take action.
All right. See, I say I would rather be ignorant than stupid. Stupid to me says you know and you do not.
Oh, okay, okay.
Ignorant is you know not, so
You
you
do not,
can learn to do. See, my
but you
father,
don't.
my father was ignorant, but he was not a stupid man. He just didn't know.
Gotcha.
So
You
not
stupid.
knowing today is no excuse.
So, is
Stupidity, you got an excuse. You're just stupid. And
yeah. So there,
as far as Gump said, stupid is what stupid
that
does,
stupid
right?
does. And technically, if we don't know something, what do we have to do?
Research.
We have to research it first. Maybe have
Stay still.
conversations with other
Stay
people.
still. The Bible says, "Be still and know that I'm God." Now I know people say, "Well, he's getting religious now, sacrilegious and all that other stuff."
Get
But I'm
over
just
it, people.
saying,
Get over it.
know something. But the point is that there are times you need to be in motion.
Sometimes you need to be still.
Sometimes you need to be in motion, but just because you're in motion doesn't mean that you buried in the needle of the speedometer.
That's true. That's true.
You know, just get in motion, gather the information. It's like the algorithms we were talking about.
Hmm. The
Artificial
code,
intelligence.
the code has to be written first.
Pay attention to the signs. Now, and the signs that we're giving you today is you got some options. Let's create a plan to help you to get from where you are to where you want to be.
That's it.
Just create the plan.
That's it.
Then get some good advice on some options. Weigh the options. Then make a decision that, hey, I'm going to start on Monday. And on Monday, what do you what do you do on Monday, Leland?
You move. You
I'm
research.
sorry, you do what?
You move.
Come hell or
You
high water, you do what?
you move. You get into action.
You know
Take a
what a
step.
lot of people do? They make the decision over the weekend. They talk to Bubba and them.
Don't talk to Bubba. God bless his soul.
But you know what I'm saying? They
Yeah, I do.
talk to somebody, and sometimes they tell somebody who's jealous and envious of this crab mentality. Okay, so I say if you're going to tell somebody who's trying to help you, a trusted, valued friend, but not somebody who feels that he or she is in competition with you, because they'll steal your idea and they'll do everything that they can, consciously and unconsciously, wittingly or unwittingly, to knock you off your game. And a year later, man, I thought you were going to do such and such and such and such. You know what that is, right? That's called a dig.
What is that?
A dig? Oh, come on now. Just trying to get at you to say, like, nephew, no.
Uh, so
Oh,
real quick, let me say
yes,
this.
sir. Yeah, please.
As we wrap up, here's the thing
Mm,
that we want everyone to take with you. If you don't know, it's okay that if you don't know something, and it's
that's
okay
right.
to admit that you don't know something. It is not okay to pretend that all is
Oh,
well.
oh man.
At worst case scenario, as an example,
Mm-hmm.
ask questions, present us
Mm-hmm.
with questions, do research,
Mm-hmm.
We have tons of ebooks, webinars. We're creating more webinars for education purposes. But the only way to grow is to know. And the only way not to grow is to not know.
To not know.
So if you don't want to grow,
and I would say, if you like continuing to scratch and crawl, that's fine. But we're here to help you to get up, stand up, and then start that progression, slow or fast progression towards the land of your dreams.
yeah,
Okay? And I say that, Leland, because you know my age. You and I have talked, Now, does that mean that I got everything going? No. But I got enough going that I don't have to worry about. The only thing I'm concerned about is how long I'm going to be on this earth, and I'm putting things in place because I know my days are numbered. But I don't worry about that. I don't worry about the boss man. I don't worry about my friends. I am joy filled. So the question to you is, what are you willing to do now to allow you to live a joy-filled life? And if you don't have all the solutions, we said, come on, contact us and let's just sit down and talk.
that's it.
Because I think people need to understand there are no scripts. We don't have any scripts.
No, I mean, I think I heard somebody tell me that we should have scripts. It should be more scripted.
Yeah. Well, I like free flowing so that
It's
I'm
authentic.
hoping that in the discussion we say something that causes someone to have a pregnant pause.
You got to be pregnant first to have one of those.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
You got to be pregnant with something. You got to be
Yes,
pregnant with a
sir.
new idea, right? You got to be
Yes, sir.
pregnant with the desire to want something a little bit more.
I get it. I get it. I'm with you. Yes.
But
Yes.
but you know what? But if the womb is empty, so is the tomb.
Well, and you have to be pregnant with anticipation.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
So to start today, for the first time in your life, possibly start to count on you. You got a job, fine. Find an escape hatch. Have a plan B. I'm not saying go out and get a side hustle. If you're already sick and tired of being sick and tired because you're putting in 40, 60, 80, 80 hours a week, you're tired. There aren't enough hours for you to go out there and duplicate that.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that there isn't something out there for you. And let us help you with that. That's all. Just let us help you.
That's it. So
Come
on
on
that,
over to our side.
on that, we will chat with you guys. We'll chat with you guys later.
Hey, be blessed, man. Thank you so much.